So, what would you like to talk about, sir? Wait, did I hear you correctly? You want to talk about me? But why? I guess that's true. Ever since I started working for you, we never sat down and had a conversation like this. Well, it's not like I was ever interested in having one. I have responsibilities to uphold. Give myself a break? You don't know if danger could creep up at any moment. Alright. Guess I'll just waste some time talking with you. Nothing, sir. Anyway, what is it about me that you'd like to inquire about? My childhood? Since when did you care about... Never mind. I thought you already knew about that. Especially since I've been working for your family for several years now. Oh, right. Like me, you were a teenager back then. And you weren't the type to pry into people's lives, were you? In fact, you were quite indifferent. Well, the past is the past, and I'd rather not look back on it again. Why not? Because it serves as a permanent reminder of how weak I really was. I appreciate you trying to make me feel better, but I will never be able to change what happened. Now, if you could excuse me, I'd like to go back out to the balcony to continue what I was doing. Why are you so stubborn? Okay, since you really wish to know more about me, I'll grant you that wish. After all, now that I think about it, you are my boss, and therefore, you deserve to know more about me. I was about 15 years old when things took a turn for the worst. My parents and I, we lost most of what we had. The economy was unstable. Taxes increased. Our town was dealing with overpopulation, and my father's business went bankrupt. We went around desperately, trying to find anything that we could to survive a bit longer. It was already tough for us before the apocalypse, because we were a poor family. But now, we were running out of rations, and I feared starving to death. You probably didn't know what it was like to be me, because you were fortunate to grow up in a better environment. Anyway, one day, we encountered a group of soldiers. Judging from their uniforms, they didn't look like they were from our area. And from the way they glanced at us and walked towards us with increasing speed, I knew something was about to happen. And by the time I knew, we were captured. They dragged us to some unknown location. we were pushed to the ground and we found ourselves surrounded by them, all carrying guns. At that very moment, I was ready to die alongside my parents. But the soldiers did something far worse than I could have imagined. They made me watch my parents die. I still vividly remember my father. Even seconds before his death, he was more concerned about my safety. And that fear in my mother's eyes before she was... It is something that I will never forget. All I could ask myself was, why? Why did this have to happen? And that's when it hit me. The government wanted to eliminate the poor. They wanted to reduce the population as a way to restore the economy. They wanted to kill people like us, so that the remaining food supply would be enough for everyone else. After taking my parents' lives, those bastards released me and basically left me for dead rather than killing me. I guess they couldn't bear killing a child with their own hands. Cowards. Staring at my parents' lifeless bodies, I mourned for what felt like days. Even now, I blame myself for not trying to protect them. Well, even if I wanted to, I couldn't. I had no strength to fight back when I was restrained. But since that day, I have sworn to avenge my parents. It's okay. Don't apologize. I don't blame you for being curious, especially since your parents never told you my story. I was thinking about telling you when the time is right. I just didn't expect the time to be now. Oh, I said I was left for dead, right? But obviously, I didn't just give up right then and there. After I said a final goodbye to my parents, I continued walking. I was determined to survive. Eventually, I noticed 2 people walking in the distance. They were well dressed, and they seemed foreign. I tried to call for help, and all I remember after that was seeing them run towards me before I collapsed from exhaustion. When I woke up, I found myself in a fancy bedroom. Immediately, I realized I was staying in a home belonging to a wealthy family. The 2 people who saved me were none other than your parents. And after I got better, I decided to work for your family because I owed them my life. Your father was skilled with guns and martial arts, and I was fortunate to have been trained by him, even though it was tough for a young girl like me to learn how to fight. He was always patient with me. Your mother? She treated me like her own daughter. I've thought about how lucky I was to be rescued and cared for by them. Before your parents left for their business trip, they asked me to protect you, their only son. After all that they had done for me, this was the only thing they asked of me. And of course, I obliged. However, just when I thought everything was going to be okay, the apocalypse came, and I'm sure you're aware of what happened to your parents. For me, it was like losing my own for the second time. I'm really sorry for bringing it up. But I hope you now understand why I take my job very seriously. Well, it's not so much a job anymore. It's a promise that I made with your parents. Why didn't they care for you? What are you talking about? You're right. They were busy people. But that doesn't mean they didn't love you. If they never cared, they wouldn't have hired me to be your bodyguard. You don't need me? That really hurts. But pardon me, sir. You were irresponsible, reckless. You needed someone to keep you under control. And whether or not you need me now, I cannot break my promise. I see. So that's why you weren't very fond of me when I was first brought home. Now it makes sense as to why you wanted to know my past. I didn't mean to steal any attention from your parents. I was just going through a lot, and I needed help. But what do I know? I'm just an outsider to you, right? Look, I was never mad at you, so you don't have to say sorry. You know, I used to envy you. You were living in the comfort of your home, while I had to wander around, hopelessly in the streets. I wondered why life was so unfair to me. But now, I can really see that wealth isn't the only source of happiness, is it? When you needed your parents most, they weren't there. I should be the one to apologize on their behalf. So please, let me make up for their mistake by staying by your side. Sir, listen to me. It's just the two of us now. Let's get through this together, okay? I'm willing to make any sacrifices for you. Even if I'll have to die, it'll be worth it if you keep on living for me. Aside from that, you've matured a lot, You're actually nice to me now. I'm sure your parents watching from above are very proud of you.